It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2023 spring edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local business. We talk with business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn about how they got into business, why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You'll hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Welcome, Steve Roberts. We're fishing season now, huh?
It is, and I'm back from vacation, you know.
Did you fish when you were down in, where were you? Anyway.
Yeah, we did a cruise in the Caribbean. I always have my little portable pole in there and everything. It wasn't all that conducive.
No,
sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't.
Sure,
it wasn't all that, but I was ready. And as I'm getting on the cruise boat, I have my fishing pole, little thing in there. They pulled me aside. They go, "You're not going to fish off the boat." I'm like, "No, I'm not fishing off the cruise boat." You know, no, I'm not going to do that.
I would have assumed that.
You know, I'm going to troll out the back. You know, at 25 knots.
What floor were you on your cruise boat?
We were on 18.
No kidding.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't have done that. I would have been too tall.
You wouldn't have bothered you.
No?
No. Seriously, you're on you don't even know you're on a ship most of the time. Okay, you feel a little rocky. You would actually enjoy it. You hang out a little bit. You can
see, because small boats are different. Now, I love a small boat. I'm fine. You know, I can go up and down waves all the way. You know, transfer.
It's like being on an island.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You would love it. I think you would.
Well, I'm going to have to do it sooner or later.
You know what? You and I and Kelly and Joe should go on a cruise together. That way I can drive you crazy even when you're on vacation.
Right. How fun is that? That's wonderful. Well, I don't know if it'll be as much fun as this show, because we got an action-packed show for you today, folks. Stick around for the entire show, because we're going to start off with Matt Gutchess. He is the promoter of the Oneida Lake Walleye Festival. And then Tanya Anderson is the CEO of Arise. We'll have a conversation with her. Big Luke Luckenheimer will be stopping by. He's the chairman of CNY Drives. Chuck Hafner from Hafner's Farmers Market and Garden Center. That's going to be a fun conversation. Donna Newman stops by. She's the volunteer coordinator and shelter trainer at the CNY SPCA. And then Shauna Chernoff and Christy Shivda. She's a mortgage originator. That's Shauna.
You are really good with those names, Tom. There's no way I would have got those right.
And then we should do it just for comedic relief. Have you read the names? So we have a mortgage loan originator, then the branch manager at Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. They'll be by to talk. And then Anthony Manicone is the owner of Pump Pizza Pub. And then Diane Kupperman and Molly DiBartolo, president and CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's Diane. And then the producer over at American High, that is what's her name? Molly.
Somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming her name is Molly, Molle, you know.
Yeah.
You know how actresses are.
Yes.
They have those fancy names.
Yes, Molly will be here later.
Yes. Molinoma will be by, and we'll talk about her. Right now, it's our pleasure to talk with Matt Gutchess. He is the promoter of the Oneida Lake Walleye Fest. How are you, buddy?
I am fantastic. Thank you both for having me today.
Well, thank you for being here. I had the pleasure, Steve, of poking around the YouTube at one point and seeing the Awakening Angler, which is a little YouTube thing that Matt does. And he's on his boat, and he does his fishing excursions and teaches you how to fish.
Didn't that used to be called the Woke Angler? It's not the same one, right?
Don't confuse him with the Woke Angler.
It's not the same one.
Okay, just checking.
How'd that come about, the Awakening Angler?
There's a little backstory there. I also have, I'm also an author. I published my first book a couple years ago.
Oh, congratulations. That's great, man.
Thank you. And the opening scene of the book, it's a fictional story, but it everything draws a little bit from real life.
From real life. Yeah, sure.
And I had an experience one day.
Aliens?
Just a spiritual thing that I kind of came to a point in my life where I've been a guide since I was in my 20s, chartered on Lake Ontario, on the Salmon River and Oswego, and it was always just about the fish. It was always about getting the limit. It was about the hero shot with your customers.
Right.
And there came a point in my life where I was more interested in the teaching and sharing of fishing than I was in just the catching of it. And sometimes people will say, well, that's just what a bad fisherman says. But listen, some days, fishing's fishing. But the awakening was really a personal thing for me that there was more to fishing for me the rest of my life than just catching fish for or with people.
I think that is fabulous.
Did you become a fisher of men?
I guess in somewhat, my book has a very spiritual undertone. It's a journey of my main character, and it shows him coming as we all get older. We look at things a little differently, and every morning on a night of lake, I look for my ospreys that are now back, and I see the swallows that came home, and I look at things a little differently. I love to fish, and I'm hardcore about it, and I'll fish 250 days this year.
So we'll be with you 238 of them, but that's okay.
Right, that's okay. I love it.
Tell us about, because time is limited, tell us about the tournament. There's a fishing tournament.
Yes, walleye tournament.
So the Lions Club of Cicero and Mattydale and Chittenango and a couple other clubs locally since 1979 have done the opening weekend walleye derby on a night of lake. And a couple times throughout their history, it's either been non-conducive or too much for the local clubs to do, and they have stopped doing it. Well, last year, the Chittenango Lions Club, who is the club that had it for the last 6 years, the Derby, finally said that they were just done doing it. And one of my fans from YouTube got a hold of me last year around Christmas time and said to me, hey, why don't you take it over and do something with it? And so he planted the seed with me, and I was talking with a good friend of mine, Chuck Orlando, who owns Limp Lizard Barbecue restaurants here locally.
I know Chuck well, yeah.
Chuck and I are pretty close, and we were talking one day over a adult beverage, and he goes, well, let's do it. And I go, really?
Yeah, right.
And that was right around New Year's. And here we are 2.5 months later, the Derby's in 3 weeks, and we decided to do something really big as opposed to just the Derby. Now, the Derby will stay with the same framework as the Lions Club always had.
Yeah. Now, will professionals come in to fish this?
I hope so.
Okay.
But this is the true essence of an open Derby.
Right. All ages.
So real
all
quick,
ages,
real
all
quick,
skill
what are the
sets.
prizes? How do people register? Tell us that.
You register walleyefest.com, www.walleyefest.com. That's our website. All tickets this year are only available online. Okay. The Lions Club in years past used to spread paper tickets far and wide, and you could go in.
So I have something that says a lake walleye fishing derby. It's really walleyefest.com.
We have a couple domains, but walleyefest.com is the easiest one to remember.
So this is for families. This is for everybody.
Yeah.
They can go to walleyefest.com and register for the tournament. When is it? Real quick.
May 6th and 7th.
The 6th and 7th. Okay, good.
So it is the traditional opening weekend. So last year, New York State changed the walleye season in New York to go to May 1st, a hard calendar day, as opposed to the first Saturday in May, which it always was. Right. We will be keeping the Derby because, this year
it's on the weekend.
Opening day's a Monday.
Yeah.
So we're not doing a.
Okay. Well, we're out of time right now, but can we have you back again?
Oh, I would love it.
Okay, yeah, let's have you back, and we'll have an even bigger conversation about the awakening angler and all that stuff. Yeah. Thank you so much, Matt, and congratulations, and we hope you have a great tournament.
Thank you.
All right. Tanya Anderson's coming up next. She's the CEO of Arise here in Syracuse, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. Happy spring. I'm Tom Soccocio Jr., the creative director at Zoey Advertising, along with Steve Roberts, who's the owner of Zoey Advertising.
Tom.
Yeah.
I have a new fisherman friend. I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah, the guy before.
Look at this, right?
Matt.
Is this my happy place or what?
Yeah, you like that stuff.
So are you and I and Matt going to go fishing? Are you going to commit to doing it?
I would, yeah.
Maybe
I would
drag
do
Nick
that.
along?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'd like to actually catch some fish.
I know how poorly you do.
I've watched his videos, and he pulls out some lunkers.
Well, they edit out all the things. When you're fishing, nothing,
Right.
nothing. Then they edit that out, and then when you catch the fish...
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's that, he doesn't have a full crew and everything. So I think he's real. He's the real deal. He knows when to go out there and when to fish and all that. So I look forward to it.
Me too.
I'd like to have that happen. Hey, tell me a little bit about Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. I know, it's been interesting. I talked to our boy Joe Scrippa, and he was telling me that things were actually chugging along pretty good. And then, of course, national news will tell you it's bad. So, either way, you can get your mortgage and your home equity loans.
Good news or bad news, if you need a house,
right?
You got to live somewhere.
Right. You got to.
Good news or bad news?
It's always moving.
And the rates have adjusted, and that's for sure. But if you don't want to spend too much money, go to Gettys.
Right.
Seriously, and you can have a conversation with local people. They are right here. They don't charge that PMI. You and I have talked about that before.
Right.
That private mortgage insurance, which ensures that you pay your loan. Well, gee, didn't I just do that? So there's extra fees from national organizations, and people go online to faraway places. They're just terrific there. So if you're going to do something, or even if you're going to borrow off your home and maybe put in that swimming pool you want, Tom? Mm-hmm. No pool this year? Okay.
No pool.
But Gettys Federal Savings and Loan, if you go anywhere else, you went somewhere else. Why'd you do that? Go to GettysFederalSavingsandLoan.com. Tom?
Okay. It's our pleasure right now to bring on somebody new to the show. Tanya Anderson is the CEO of Arise. How are you, Tanya?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Tanya, are you a Syracuse native? Did you grow up around here?
I did grow up around here.
What high school did you go to?
I actually went to West Genesee High School, and now I'm a very proud Valley resident.
Yeah, very nice.
They all are, I know.
See, once you're in the Valley, you're proud of it.
I guess. I don't know.
It's a great place.
Beautiful place to be. Yeah, I used to play baseball and all that on Meacham School field, and all that.
Yeah, my daughter went to Meacham. I was in the Meacham PTO.
Ah, very nice.
Great place.
Yeah. So what do you do at Arise? How'd you get into Arise?
So I'm the CEO at Arise, and I actually got involved many years ago, almost 25 years ago. I was on the board of directors of Arise, and then my daughter was born, and she was diagnosed with a disability when she was about 13 months old. So the work that we do at Arise involves people of all ages and all disabilities, advocacy and inclusion. And the mission has always been important to me, but when my daughter was born and diagnosed, it became much more personal and much more immediate to me. So I got more and more involved, and then an opportunity came up when my predecessor announced his retirement, and I put my hat in the ring, and here I am. It's been about 7 years.
Is there any confusion to what Arise does?
I think there is, because there are a lot of really great human service agencies in our area. And what makes Arise different is that we're an independent living center. That's a special designation by the state and federal government. So we're the only one in Central New York. And we have a mandate to serve people any age, any disability. We have to have at least 50% of our board of directors identify as people with disabilities. We employ people with disabilities. And we're really about giving people with disabilities the power to direct their own lives, to give them the services that they want, so that they're fully included. Everything is based in the community. Everything is really based about the power that people with disabilities have.
Yeah, we've had a couple of people in our family use Arise. Adam, my cousin, and he was independent living, and he did really well. In fact, I would see Adam at the New York State Fair, and I'd say we always thought that he was, not able to do things on his own. But through Arise and that independence and having his own apartment and being checked on and all that stuff, he became very independent and was able to do his own shopping.
So what is independent?
And all that.
Is independent, it's independent with the support and the structures and the help that makes them independent? Explain that a little bit.
So what we try to do is presume competence. So we presume that someone can direct their own lives and can be included. And if you think about it, disability is really an arbitrary line that any of us can be in the disability community at any time. Actually, 1 in 5 of us identify as a person with a disability. So you can be born with a disability, you can sustain an injury, you can have a short-term injury where you're disabled. And as we age, we need more support. So there are some very simple things like, curb cuts and automatic door openers that will allow someone who has mobility issues to access the building, and then more complex things like a job coach that will assist someone in the workplace so that they can earn an income. Housing supports. It really can be anything and everything.
But if somebody has severe cerebral palsy, let's say, and that they cannot think for themselves, like they can't calculate things and, navigate a car, they can't drive or anything like that, you still have homes for them as well?
Well, so Arise actually doesn't do any residential. Everything is based in the community. But someone with an intellectual disability, they can have supports in place also to help them navigate the systems.
Because my wife's sister was in a group home, and that's different than what Arise does.
That is different from what Arise does. But there are many really good providers out there that do that residential support.
Yeah.
So it's but you said something that surprised me a little. You said even temporary. So somebody has an injury. I had a serious injury in 2006. I had a traumatic brain injury.
Right.
I was out of work for 2 years. Things changed, and there were a lot of supports and things that had to be adapted. Certain things just were very, very difficult for me.
Right.
But by the grace of God, I don't know if I grew out of it, but it changed.
Right.
But there were certain things then that just couldn't be, and there was things that had to be adapted, even where we were living, where I would sit at a table.
It can be
because of light and all kinds of things.
Very simple things. You think about kids in school that might have problems with focusing or knowing what's the next thing because they have some sort of intellectual disability or just something going on. You can just put out a visual planner for them and just help them direct. We have a loan closet where we have medical equipment that if someone has a temporary injury where they need a walker or a shower chair or something like that, they can just come to Arise and borrow it and return it.
Wow, that's great.
I didn't know. How are you supported?
We are supported with donations. We have grant funding. We have some fee-for-service programs. We have a very large mental health clinic that bills Medicaid. We have a really diverse funding stream.
And is Arise in different cities? So is there like a national chapter of Arise, and then you run the Syracuse chapter?
So Arise is the designated independent living center in Onondaga, Oswego, Madison, Cayuga, and Seneca counties. There is a national and state network of independent living centers, but we are independent within that network.
Gotcha. And do you run all those? Are you CEO of all those?
I'm CEO of those locations in Central New York.
We have a lot of free time.
I have a lot of free time.
How many people does Arise employ?
We're at about 600 people.
Oh my goodness. Do you ever look for volunteers, or is it purely?
We are always looking for volunteers. We have, please go to our website, ariseinc.org, which has volunteer opportunities at places like our farm, where actually you can go fishing and catch some
you
fish.
guys do like a Halloween thing too, didn't you? Arise at the farm.
We have a barn dance out at the farm.
Yeah.
We have adaptive design. We have a ramp program. We've got a lot of great opportunities for volunteers and people who want to get involved.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for all you do, Tanya. Tanya Anderson right there. She's CEO of Arise, and thank you for collecting all those volunteers too. You guys do a great thing in the community.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Big Luke Lunkenheimer. He is the chairman of CNY Drives with an interesting story and an interesting business right here on the local show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We are back, and that means that you are too. All right, here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, and of course on YouTube. We've picked up some more subscribers on our YouTube channel. People can go over there and check out what's happening with the show. It's like, lifting up the curtain and seeing, what we all look like, what the guests look like, and how we use
it like
our hands.
The Wizard of Oz, Tom? You pull the curtain back and it's like, that's the guy.
Pay no attention to that man. There's nothing going on.
Nothing to see.
But yeah, you can see it all right here on YouTube. And then, of course, we have other content on there and older shows, because since we've been recording this, and of course, Brad is doing a great job in producing those and making sure the lighting is right and making sure that he has my bald spot and my stomach. So those are the two things you can see.
Yeah, we got the tummy cam and the baldo cam. The camera doesn't pick up my baldness, Tom.
No. Well, you wear your hat, your hat and your schmuck, and then you're all set to go.
It covers me. It covers me well.
I'd like to cover you with something. Okay, so we have Luke Lungenheimer with us again. Luke is the chairman of CNY Drives. How are you, buddy?
I am good, brother. And I see that you are on YouTube now. Must be because you're both wearing pants today.
Yes,
it's true.
We like to put them on every so often.
I wish I got the memo.
Luke is a strapping young lad who owns some car dealerships and all that, with an interesting story. It looks like you've been still working out. So
couple times here and there, yeah.
Do you do like a 4-day split, or are you 5 days?
No, you know what I do? I do every single day for about an hour and a half a day, and then I'll get to the point where it's like the body goes, you know what? You need to sleep, you need to rest. Yeah. So usually it's a 3 to 4 day sabbatical with nothing, let everything recover, and then right back into it. It's good therapy for me.
Good for you. And how's your diet? What kind of stuff do you eat?
Terrible.
Really?
Yeah, you would think that I eat very clean. I'm aware that my stature is good, and I work out a lot to do that and lift heavy weights. But if you had any idea what my diet really was, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
That's something else.
I try to keep it relatively healthy, but with the depth of schedule that I have, there's a lot of fast food in there. There's a lot of quick meals. Wow. So we're about to click 40. So the effort is going to be towards dietary responsibility here.
Wait till you click 60.
Well, it does. The body changes no matter what kind of shape you're in. It does. So you got to start getting that,
100%
pattern.
Not looking forward to it, honestly.
How many dealerships do you own, CNY Drives?
So we're opening our fourth. So we own 3 currently. We've got one up right by the main gate of Fort Drum and Evans Mills. Mm-hmm. We put that up there, specifically to service the soldiers, give them a strong discount, good service, but it really caters to anybody up there in the North Country. We've got our Fulton, New York location, which is right on Route 57, by the big RV store there. And we just moved our Syracuse location. That's kind of some big news.
You moved it.
We did, yeah. Okay. We had the store at the corner, right at the base of Tip Hill there, 1335 Erie Boulevard West, which was kind of on the corner of Erie Boulevard West and West Genesee Street, right on kind of the gateway going into Fairmount there.
Right.
And it was a good location. It was a very visible location, but it was not conducive to a lot of inventory. We were pretty much restricted to 30 or 40 cars there. So as the company scales, we needed some more room. We found a place over on Taft Road. It's a location that a lot of people are familiar with. It's always kind of been a small used car dealership, but we've acquired that property. We've kind of scaled it up.
Where on Taft?
Yeah,
so if you're headed northbound on 81 and you get off at Taft Road, you make a right-hand turn like you're going to the DMV.
I don't want to go to the DMV.
Well, you and the rest of Syracuse. Right. But the minute you get off the exit, you take a quick look to the left, and we are right there. You can actually see the balloons.
So that's where Church Street used to come in there?
No, actually, that's another car dealership. They're a little ways down. We are immediately off the exit. You could throw a baseball.
Used to be a budget rent-a-car or some kind of rent-a-car.
There is a rent-a-car right next door.
Okay, so right by the highway, there.
Yeah, we are right there.
How much room do you have for inventory there?
We're looking at putting about 65 cars there. So.
Very nice.
Okay, right there. That's good.
Nice.
That's good. That is handy.
And then the new location is that your new location?
Well, we also is kind of a little bit of a confusing setup. So we acquired a property in Fulton, right in the city of Fulton, right on the corner of 48 and 3 there, and we hung a banner, coming soon, next CNY Drive store. And then we had the opportunity. It was kind of a jump in now, or get off the pot scenario to get that Taft Road property, which is a very desirable property. So we jumped on that, kind of delayed the remodeling of the Fulton store, but coming in about the next 60 to 90 days, you're going to see another point open up right in the village or city of Fulton there on the corner of 3 and 48.
So people buy cars. And then people don't buy cars, and people don't. You hear car commercials every day, right, Tom?
Right.
Need a car, need a car, need a car, need a car, need a car,
irrefutable.
I don't know where he's going with it, so let's see.
There's a window of time, and you need to be in front of awareness during that window of time, I imagine, because
you're talking about an in-market buyer, as far as advertising is concerned.
How do you target that?
So it's exactly that. You try to hit the in-market buyer. So basically, there's 2 ways you can target a used car customer. One is by compelling the buyer to get into the market. So somebody's got, their old rusty Toyota that they've been driving forever, and they, are just going to drive it till the wheels fall off. And they know that anytime between now and the next 24 to 36 months, they're probably going to make a buying decision. That type of advertising is to try to compel the buyer to come in and do something a little sooner. You talk about, whether the prices are down a little bit, whether the incentives are strong with the banks, what have you. That's one type of marketing. The other type is trying to maintain a very strong presence in the marketplace, brand awareness, which you guys are very familiar with.
Sure.
So when somebody does decide now is the time to pull the trigger, one of the first names that comes to mind is your company. There was a guy in the local market that was very good at doing that. Everybody knows
he was pretty
huge names,
Right.
And Billy Fusil did a great job of that, and there's really nobody that's done it better. But I don't have the $1 million a month ad budget.
Right, but you're not huge. Why you? Seriously, you can't. There are car dealers all over the place.
Yep,
why do people do business with you?
It's a great question. So I've found kind of in life and in marketing particularly that there's usually, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this, there's the big 3. There's usually 3 things that a consumer will latch onto. You give them 5 or 6 things about your company, it just becomes a mess, a jumble. They can't remember it.
Right.
One thing doesn't really make you seem too unique. At CNY Drives, we've kind of dug into the roots of what we do, and the 3 key points of our company that I believe are valuable to a customer and really are a good reason to do business with us. Every car is Carfax Advantage certified. So what that means is every vehicle that we sell is also backed by Carfax. So there's a major brand behind that customers can recognize. The second thing is we do a 60-point quality check on everything that we sell. So in New York State, people usually are not aware of the fact that a car with over 100,000 miles on it, there's no burden for the dealer to warranty it. Right down to a car that's got 3,000 miles on it, there's no set criteria that the dealer has to scrutinize the automobile before it leaves the lot. So you could have tires that are next to bald. You can have exhaust rattling off the car. As long as it passes a New York State safety and emission inspection, the dealer can sell that car. So we have a set criteria at 60 points. Tires, brakes, ball joints.
Special to you guys.
100%. Yeah.
What's the third point?
The third point is we warranty everything we sell. A lot of our competitors are selling 100,000 mile cars. Mileage is not that big of a deal on a used car anymore. We're seeing cars do 250, 300,000 miles. So when something's got over 100,000 clicks on it, we still warranty it for that 30-day period, right up to if we sell a car that's got 200,000 miles on it.
So when they buy a used car, they don't have to stress out. They have 30 days drive it. Oh, it was making this noise. Well, let's check that noise.
100%.
Yeah.
We get the little old lady that comes in with the car that she could, just barely afford on her fixed income. It's a 162,000 mile Hyundai Santa Fe that's 10 years old. We'll put a transmission in it on day 29.
That's wonderful.
That is remarkably different.
Now, on your website, I noticed you have Big Luke's blog, and that kind of goes along with what you're saying. It's just not you're not out for the quick hit. Tell us about the blog and what you hope to accomplish with that.
Well, we hope to be here a long time. This is a company that I'm establishing, hoping to hand down to my kids. When you're dealing with a car dealer, the history of car dealers has been somewhat nefarious.
Yes,
rolling
absolutely.
back odometers and Bondo patches on frames. And I believe that if you give the consumer every bit of information that is there to be had, even from behind the curtain, so to speak, the things that they're not privy to. And if you just say, hey, listen, here's all the information, make an informed decision, when you kind of let them in behind the curtain and you show them that there's nothing to hide, there's really no lies to be told.
CNYDrives.com?
That's us.
Excellent. Right. Thank you, Luke Lunkenheimer.
It's a tough one. Thank you, guys. Always a pleasure to be here.
Again. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Chuck Hafner's coming up next. Chuck Hafner's Farmers Market and Garden Center. How appropriate for this time of year.
There we go.
I'm really interested to talk with him right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining Steve and I on the Steve Roberts Variety Hour. And,
come on, Tom. You did great without me.
All Steve all the time. And
except when I'm on my... Wait a minute. I listened, Tom. You said I take 17 weeks of vacation out of 18 weeks. That's not true.
That's right. It's more like 30. You're right. Well, the important thing is that you're living your best life. One of us has to.
The last vacation I was working.
Yeah, sure.
You're not buying that.
No, I'm not. Really not. But it's good to have you back. You know, it's you cast a large shadow and you have giant shoes. Well, so you're hard to fill.
Larger. I was on a cruise. Boy, do you eat on those things.
Do you?
Oh my gosh! They give you food and then they have more food and then they drop you off food and they bring you food. It's
really
I gained a significant.
Maybe I would like it.
Yeah, the food is great.
And you didn't get sick at all. So
no.
I know you have trouble with motion.
When I used to spend a lot of time in helicopters and light aircraft, and I would always, after a while, get a little punchy.
Did you have something just in case?
Yeah, those things never work. So
good to know.
They're just giant placebos. Take this and it'll be better. Sure. But no issues.
Oh, good. That's perfect.
Yeah, it was dandy.
And Judy had fun, too?
She did, even though she was with me.
Yeah, that's rare. So that's very nice. All right. Well, it's good to have you back. I'm really interested in talking to our next guest. His name is Chuck Hafner, and you may have heard his name and his family's name. Chuck Hafner's Farmers Market and Garden Center. Been around for quite some time. They have a website. It's chuckhafner.com. That's easy enough. And how are you, young man?
I'm doing fine.
It's good to see you and finally meet you. You are the Chuck of Chuck Hafner's?
I'm not quite sure.
There's no backing out now.
Because, I'm 59 years old and I've been going to your place forever. So, and I really appreciate that you have what you have over there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
How long have you been in the business?
This is probably about 54 years.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Now, you still look young and virile, and you look like you're 30 years younger than me.
Well, I see you wear glasses.
These are just readers.
Okay.
I can tell somebody who's virile. Right. But you've been at it for a while. Were you always in kind of the farming business?
My dad was. He had a truck farm. Okay. And we always had a couple tables out by the road, and it was then it was called Fay Road, and that's when GE was really booming.
Well, yeah, Steve used to work at GE.
Yeah, early 80s. Yeah, so they would, when they let out, everybody would head back towards North Syracuse or whatever, and they'd go by and stop up, pick up the stuff that we grew on the farm at that time. That's all we sold. So then they decided to widen the road. So my dad that was 1967 or 68. So he took the house and the barns and moved them around the corner.
So this is the corner of Taft and Buckley, correct?
Taft and Buckley, yeah. Okay, it used to be Fay and Buckley.
Okay.
It used to be Fay Road.
Yeah, but they had two Fay Roads.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they had to change one of them. So we built, during my summer break from college, I was in college at that time up at the University of Buffalo.
Gotcha.
We built what would be a 2-car garage with wings on it. Uh-huh. And then that summer I started going to the market and buying the produce and the fruits that were shipped in, like the bananas and the grapes and all that.
Yeah,
exactly, stuff we didn't grow. So I supplemented with what we grew with the stuff that I brought in, and then we had a complete line, and the business grew from there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what'd you go to college for?
I started out in engineering, but kind of flunked that part. And so then I went into political science.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
A lot of people flunk at that. Just look around.
Goodness. That's something else. And you decided, at what point did you say, this is going to be my life? I'm going to take this over and grow it.
Well, my last year during the summer, my last year of college, I ended up making considerably more in 3 months than I was getting for job offerings.
Right.
And that's because it was a seasonal business, like an ice cream stand or you know, any seasonal business. You make all your money in 3 months. So I figured I could work for 3 months and then go ski and party
have fun.
for the rest of the year.
Smart guy.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gig. So
that's
that's when I decided. But then I got kind of bit by being able to make money and the business and just kept expanding.
So how long did your father remain in the business before he got out? Or is he still alive?
Oh, no. He died in 83.
Okay.
So I was only about 30 years old at that time.
Gotcha. Do you have brothers and sisters that help you?
No, it's
just
me.
you.
So what's the restaurant? Is that you or somebody else?
No, that's my cousin Tommy. I always say he was a smart one. When we were in the cabbage field, he never told me about thinking of opening a restaurant. You know?
It's a nice restaurant. Right there.
What restaurant is that? What's that called?
Jake Hafner's.
Okay.
And that's named after his dad, who actually was my father, and it was George and Jake.
Gotcha.
My father and Tommy's dad were partners.
And that's over by the pool place.
Yes.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
next to Cannon's.
Cannons, yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, so you built, and then you built, and then you built some more. The place takes up most of North Syracuse now, right?
Yeah, well, it started out with the size of the ice cream stand, which eventually did become the ice cream stand.
Okay.
In 75, I built a pole barn and then a larger farm market.
Right.
And then we kept adding on to that and adding on.
Was that Hafner's Red Barn? Was that?
No, that's completely separate.
Right, but what was that? That's yours too?
That was competition.
Oh, was?
Oh, yeah. That was my
Really?
second cousin.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't like when I came in next door.
Isn't that
Wait a minute.
something?
See, I'm thinking they're all big happy
Yeah, I thought
Hafners.
you were all the same.
Not quite.
Family's family, no matter what, right?
Yeah,
We all
exactly.
have it. Yeah.
No, so there were two large farm markets, basically within a block of each other.
Oh,
And, and we're just thinking, hey, it's one big group, the same sort of kind of people. Okay.
No.
Is he no longer in business?
No, he basically lost that to
Okay.
a developer, and now the Brooklyn Pickle.
Yeah,
that's where the
Brooklyn's over
Brooklyn
there,
Pickle is, right where he was.
Right.
Yeah, so that's gone. They tore it down.
I remember
Okay.
that as a kid going
So
going in there. They had the fireplace, and they'd gifts, and my
yeah.
wife would spend money we didn't need to spend there, and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. It was a huge operation.
So what's hot at the farming market right now? Spring is sprung. What's going on?
Well, it's right now it's nursery stock and hardy perennials, and as soon as the weather breaks in another week or so, then you'll start with your annuals, hanging baskets, vegetable plants,
Right, all that.
along with all the different nursery
Are there
stock.
unhardy annuals?
Well, yeah.
You buy them, they die. Boom,
Yeah,
they're dead.
no. There's your annuals are rated based on the zone that we're in.
Okay.
So we're now we're almost in a zone 6. So everything we carry is rated for our zone or colder.
Mm-hmm.
But we caution people, there's some stuff that's tender. So if you get a cold wind like today, if it was out for a while, then it'd harden off, it'd be fine. Once you plant it, and it's in the ground, it'd be fine. But for the first year, we call them.
Why do people buy from you? You can't. Why do they go? Why do they take the truck to Hafner's?
Yeah. Why do you think they buy from you?
I think it's the quality that. I know it's the quality that we have.
Yeah.
That's it, and our presentation of it, and our selection, and our staff is extremely knowledgeable.
Answer. They can actually answer questions.
Yeah, we've got a number of them that are certified for nursery, New York State Nursery certified.
Right.
Where they have to take tests. We have a couple that are actually national, like arborists certified. And then we pride ourselves on just being able to service people, have the best quality that
and a large
do.
variety.
Is the ice cream certified?
everything.
You still have ice cream?
No, the ice cream's gone.
The ice cream's not there anymore.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not
goodness.
there anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, what are your hours? When can people see you?
Let me look.
Yeah.
It's this time of year, it's 9 to 6 with, I think it's 9 or 10 to 5. It's on our website.
Right.
But then we'll expand that a little bit more as soon as the weather breaks.
So, but typically you're done by 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, COVID started that.
Yeah,
before when we were building at 9 o'clock, and my saying was always, if there's over 5 cars in the parking lot, don't shut the door.
That's a true awesome owner, Chuck Hafner.
Yeah, don't shut it.
Get over to Chuck Hafner's place, Chuck Hafner's Farmers Market and Garden Center. Thank you so much, Chuck. It's great to meet you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Donna Newman. She's a volunteer coordinator at the and shelter trainer at the CNY SPCA. Shauna Chernoff and Christy Shivda are the mortgage loan originator and the branch manager over at Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Anthony Manicone is the owner of Pump Pizza Pub, and Diane Kupperman, along with Molly DiBartolo, will be here, and they're from the Make-A-Wish Foundation and a producer at American High, respectively. So stick around for hour number 2 of the local show, because it starts really soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Donna Newman. She is the volunteer coordinator and shelter trainer at the CNY SPCA. And then Shauna Chernoff and Christy Shivda stop by, mortgage loan originator and branch manager, respectively, over at Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Anthony Manicone, the owner of Pump Pizza Pub, will stop by. And then Diane Kupperman, along with Molly DiBartolo, the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation and a producer at American High, once again, respectively, will be on the show. So all that respectively stuff will be here.
Respectively. Respectively, Tom.
Oh, goodness. What am I doing here? Donna Newman.
Is that a global question, Tom?
Yes,
is that a bigger question?
That's a big question that I haven't been able to answer. Donna Newman is up right now, and let's say hello to her. Volunteer coordinator and shelter trainer at CNY SPCA. What's the SPCA stand for again?
Central New York Society to Prevent Cruelty to Animals.
Okay. So, I always think of it as it's the dog place where you go get dogs and cats and things. Right. But really, it's an organization that protects animals.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that.
We have a cruelty department who invests cruelty complaints in different counties. And we have a dog control department as well, who find strays with different municipalities.
Oh, they're still doing that, huh? Where they're going on. Of course, Steve and I are of that vintage where, there used to be the trucks out all the time, and I remember having a beagle, back when I was a kid, my mother would say, bring, her name was Ralphie. See, how woke was that back then?
That was
it was a woke thing back then. And we'd say, get Ralphie in because they're going around with the patrol. And
a friend of mine had a beagle, Tom, and the dog's name was Ted. And the reason he named it Ted is because at the time, the place that we both worked, the boss's name was Ted. Oh. And he wanted to go, shut up, Ted, lay down, Ted. Go. So he named the dog Ted after our boss, which I thought was very amusing.
Funny. How did you get into this kind of business? What have you done throughout your career?
Well, I was a teacher at one point.
Oh, okay.
And then when my sons were younger in school, I decided to stop teaching. And then when I got older, I had some time, so I decided to volunteer. Okay. So I filled out an application with the SPCA, and I wanted to be a dog walker. So that's what I did for several years. And after a while, I decided to work there in different capacities.
So here's a loaded question. I know it's kind of obvious, but what's a dog walker do for the shelter?
Actually, a dog walker is a very important role at our shelter.
Okay.
Because dogs are social creatures.
Yes.
And they're forced to spend most of their time in a kennel. surrounded by other dogs barking, people walking by. So the role of a dog walker is obviously to walk dogs, but it's so much more than that because dogs learn to trust people, because whatever dog is at the shelter, something bad happened to them. Somebody died, somebody moved, somebody, something happened.
There could be abuse, all that, right?
Anything could be. So it's exercise. Dogs need exercise. It's building trust. It's realizing the world is a good place. And it leads to homes for our shelter dogs.
So are you looking for dog walkers?
Yes, we are.
So what if someone's like Tom? Will you still accept them as a dog walker?
Yes. You have to be 18 years old and out of high school. And we would like you to be able to dedicate about 2 hours a week or 6 hours a month to the shelter.
So you're over on Malloy Road. Where do they walk the dogs?
I call it the world's ugliest cul-de-sac.
Okay.
We have a little block that you can walk around that's about a half an hour. And then we have a bigger loop that's close to a mile. So people can walk, around the shelter.
So they're not taking the dogs home and fostering them for a while or anything like that?
They're not. We have a budding foster program just for our volunteers. But in general, they stay on the grounds.
Okay.
We do have a program called Dog's Day Out, where a volunteer, usually 2 volunteers, can take a dog out for the day. And the idea is to see, how does the dog act in the car? How does the dog act on a park? How does a dog act if you get them an ice cream? Just how a dog would act in normal life situations.
Right. Does the SPCA have any other types of animals? Is it just dogs or is it cats and giraffes and elephants?
Very good question. We have cats, obviously. We have dogs, and we have our critter program.
Oh,
so we have any kind of small animal you can think of. We have at any time. We have gerbils, guinea pigs.
Do you have an iguana?
Not right now.
Because Tom wants an iguana.
No, I don't want to.
But we do get all kinds of little critters that, come and go. And we do get some random animals sometimes. The last kind of random animal we had were some chickens and pigs.
Interesting.
And these animals came from a farm where they couldn't quite take care of them. And they came here until they went to their next home. But this past summer, somebody found a stray pig somewhere in Syracuse. Okay. And we have a Facebook page where we post all of our found animals. Mm-hmm. And so somebody took a picture of the pig that was in our kennel, surrounded by dogs, and posted it. And somebody said, "Hey, that's my pig." And they came to get it.
So who did you bring today?
Yeah.
This is Bart.
Hey, Bart.
Hey, Bart.
Bart's
busy right now. He has a Kong filled with peanut butter, so he's occupied.
Okay, yeah. That'd keep me occupied, too.
Let's see. Will he come this way, or should I not interrupt the peanut butter consumption?
Maybe not interrupt the peanut butter consumption. He seems very involved right now.
Who and what is Bart?
Bart is he is a 8-year-old, approximately, pit mix. He came to the shelter about 10 months ago. Mm-hmm. He's great in the car. He's very friendly. Not a fan of cats, but he enjoys other dogs, and he makes someone a lovely pet.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah. So somebody can go in and see Bart along with. How many dogs do you have? And I think, and it's something else. I can relate it to my own life, meaning that as we get older, people don't want you. Just ask my wife. But is that the case with the dogs? Do you have younger dogs there that people can adopt?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have dogs of all ages. When we have a puppy, they usually get adopted very quickly.
Yeah, that's quick, yeah.
But interestingly, most of our dogs appear to be between the ages of 1 and 3.
Okay,
so
that's not bad.
No, they're not bad, but you're talking about dogs who are no longer at that puppy stage, but dogs who probably haven't been trained.
Right.
Dogs who are very rambunctious. So I always recommend that whenever people adopt a dog, that they take him to a basic training class. It's just a great way to get to know your dog, to build a relationship, and to give you a way to communicate.
I really have to endorse that as well. We didn't, and which is why I despise Mikey at this point. No, despise might be a big word. But Mikey, we never took him. We thought, we're not going to give him all these rules and regular. Yeah, well, he's hard to even take for a walk now, and he's a beagle, and you know how they are when they sniff out food.
Oh, yes, I do.
So give us a quick snapshot of some dogs that people can get in touch with over at the SPCA right now.
Well, we probably have 50 or so dogs available.
Wonderful. Okay, good.
They get adopted, they go, and then more come. So some dogs, they have been there for a little while. In addition to Bart, would be Enzo.
Okay.
Enzo's probably about 3 or 4 years old. He's part of our doggy play group. We have volunteers who do a doggy play group for us.
Great.
Which is great for the dogs. So he loves other dogs. He's very trainable. He loves to learn. He has a little thing about food. He's little protective of his food.
So he's like Tom. So that and other dogs at cnysbca.org. And
do you have pictures? All the pictures are up over there?
They are on our website.
Okay, great. And if somebody wants to volunteer, they can get in touch with you through there as well.
Yes.
Hey, thank you so much for being here. We could talk to you for a long time. Maybe we'll have you on regularly with we bring some animals. Okay. Donna Newman right there, volunteer coordinator and shelter trainer at CNYSPCA. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much.
Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk with two people, Shauna Chernoff and Christy Shivda from Geddes Federal Savings and Loan on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we're back again. Aren't you happy that we just keep flapping our gums and gives you something to listen to? It's not too bad, huh?
I heard when we were at the home show, people were like, well, when I'm working in the garage, I listen to you guys.
Yeah.
When people are on their way somewhere or we have listeners that actually just like listen to us, Tom. Isn't that impressive?
Right, I hadn't heard that. Okay, I'll believe you.
Yeah, they do. Well, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 15,000 of them a weekend. So we appreciate the listeners.
Absolutely.
And maybe you have a business that you think might be interesting on the show. Let us know. Send an email to Tom. Do you want to go to you?
No, you can send it to you.
I'll send it to Steve.
It's the Steve Show, folks.
Steve at zoeadvertising.com. And then just put in the memo, Steve is better than Tom.
That's it. I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah. It's our pleasure right now to bring on two people on the local show, Shauna Chernoff and Christy Shivda. Now, Shauna is the mortgage loan originator at Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And then branch manager at Manlius is Christy Shivda, who we've had on several times. And welcome, ladies. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Both of you,
and you know.
And you too.
Yes, we have.
At least one of them's happy to be here.
Two microphones. Well, it's hard to know. It's like here they are in their separate silos of, doing their work during the day, and now they've got to bring them together, and we make them sit real close.
Like you and
me. Yeah. Well, we're used to this stuff.
Real close.
Each other all the time.
There you go. Yeah. So, Shauna, you tell us, what do you do over there at Geddes Federal?
So I'm the mortgage loan originator, so I do purchases, home equities, line of credits. Mm-hmm. Home equities are really big right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be busy for you in general, right? Because it's springtime. Isn't this the spring home improvement season, house buying season? Wouldn't you say that?
It is. We have a lot of pre-qualifications out there. We have a thing going on now where you get $500 towards your closing cost if you pre-qualify with us and come back with a signed purchase contract by May 31st. So we got a lot of those. Mm-hmm. We also have a lot of people doing home equities because they've been stuck in the house all winter.
Right, yeah.
Did you have to put up with our Brad, or was another mortgage originator had to deal with Brad?
I can't say anything on that.
Oh, he was amazing. I don't know what you're talking about. He was amazing.
So Brad, who is on staff here at Zoey, went through the process, and he was he was just so wide-eyed. He had never purchased a home, and there's so many hoops to jump through, and he didn't even know which hoops to jump through, but he had a great experience. So I can speak to that. And
I worked with him. That's why I was saying he was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, he asked.
Our Brad was amazing?
He was. He asked really good questions, and he was thorough, and he got his stuff in on time. He was a great customer.
Wow.
I'm just amazed that Steve pays somebody full time to be able to afford a house. If I didn't pick up trash on the weekends, I wouldn't make it up.
Oh, listen to you. So you mentioned people are leaning into their house and saying, okay, it's time to do something.
Yeah.
And they're going over to Gaddis and shaking you loose for some money to do that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, and she mentioned the pre-qualification. Now, my wife's a realtor, and she said that, certain establishments, they look more kindly upon people like Gaddis Federal, who their approval means more. And is that the case? Like some approvals are from those sketchy online places are not as good?
I have found that some people have gotten pre-qualifications from different online ones and they've had to come back, or that a lot of people, a lot of the sellers aren't taking the FHA ones, so they like the conventionals, and since all of ours are conventional, they do wind up coming to us.
I gotcha. Yeah, so it's it's almost like an insurance policy. To carry that letter from Gaddis Federal, then realtors take you more seriously too, because they want to show you.
No, it is the season, and Tom, you and I have spoke about, and I think we've all talked about the whole PMI thing and how that makes a difference, and even what people can afford, right?
Yes, it does.
So how expensive explain PMI and explain how expensive
and
it is.
you can take that mic and just put it a little closer to her, because she's...
There we go.
Yeah, she's a soft talker. She's not loud like us.
My customers say that too. They're like...
Yeah, speak up, yeah.
So PMI is private mortgage insurance, and a lot of banks need that because they do sell their loans on the secondary market. And since we hold all of ours, we do not have mortgage insurance. The amount of it is based on the loan amount, but I'm not exactly sure how much that is.
Yeah, I've heard it can be like $100 a month.
It can be.
That goes
absolutely.
into nothingville, because it's not going in the equity of your home. It's not paying off your mortgage payment. It's this thing, right?
Right.
It's just insurance that the bank is paying someone else.
Okay, and there's none of that at Gaddis, correct?
There's none.
Never.
Nope.
Ever.
Never.
Not on Tuesdays, never. Okay.
Not Tuesdays, not Fridays.
So what is it that you do, Christy, over at the Manlius branch?
Well, I do a little bit of everything.
Sure.
I do the mortgage origination piece as well as customer service, and I get out a drawer and I help out on the teller line whenever needed as also.
You know what's special about the Manlius branch?
There's a creek that's
right
close
at
by.
the end of the parking lot.
You love that creek.
I almost went there this last weekend.
Yes, I'd like him to jump in a creek.
I couldn't convince my wife, because she really likes it when she waits in the car and I fish.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And I went to another spot, but I almost went down there. And it's
people like it. They do. And we actually had an employee once that would go over there and fish on his lunch.
Okay, my kind of.
Yep, he would walk right over there.
What part of that?
It's a tributary to limestone.
It's part of limestone.
And
Okay.
I didn't know this, but I guess the medallion was hidden not necessarily along that creek, but it was hidden down, like it connects to a park.
Oh,
And I
okay.
did not realize that, but I had a customer come in and tell me about
Okay,
it.
so here's what's going to happen, Tom.
Wow.
In the next week or two, I'm going to go down there to the Manlius branch of Gaddis. I'm going to drive by. I'm going to the end of the parking lot. I'm going to catch a couple trout.
Yes,
Then I'm
of
going to do a
course.
selfie holding the trout in front of the Gaddis building. What do you think?
I think.
Okay.
That'll certainly bring.
That's what I got.
Fishing for a mortgage.
Oh, there you go.
That's right. Fishing for a mortgage.
And the plot twist.
That's great. So you're kind of full service to that area down there.
Yes.
Which is nice. And you're seeing a lot of people coming in for home equities and maybe new homes at this point?
Yes. Things are when spring comes along, people tend to take a peek at their house and they're like, oh, I really got to get this upgraded or need to refinish this. And
we talk about refis and of course the sweet spot would have been last year and at the beginning of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff probably would have been better. But still the rates are, at that point where you better get in now because we don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, they actually just dipped. Yeah, they went down a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so if you're on the fence,
run over to Gettys Federal.
Now is the time.
Are people still shifting some of their liquid money into certificates of deposit because the market's a little creepy? Are you finding people doing that?
Oh, yeah, the
CDs,
rates are really good right now, actually.
Yeah.
They seem to just be, going up, so keep checking them.
How long do you have to lock something into a CD?
So we have short-term and long-term, so as little as 4 months, really.
Oh,
I've seen 3.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you just got to take a peek at what we're offering. We are offering a 4-month special right now, a 9-month, and a 17-month.
Oh, perfect. So they can talk to you about that.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's not your area of expertise. You're more just...
No, I know about it because when I work on Saturdays, I'll work in that department.
Okay.
But other than that,
Yeah. All right.
they'd go to Christy over here.
Wonderful.
Pass the buck.
So
literally.
Get it. GettysFederal.com. Get it at Gettys. GettysFederal.com. Shauna Chernoff right there, mortgage loan originator. And you're over in Westvale probably, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're over there. And then, of course, you can see Christy Shivda, who is the branch manager in Manlius for Gettys Federal
Next
Savings.
to the trout stream.
Next to the trout stream. Thank you both for coming in and talking a little banking with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Anthony Manicone. He is the owner of Pump Pizza Pub. Stick around right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful, wonderful weekend. The weather has gotten a little better than it was during the week. We kind of had a little dip of cold, so I'm happy that we're back to a little more spring. Steve, if you see a really goofy guy who's about 6 foot, 110 inches, he is, and he's got waders on up to his chest. Then you know that.
Right now, I got pizza in my mouth, Tom.
Very good. So you're not going to talk about Safe Harbor right now, probably.
Right, Ken. So if you eat a lot of pizza, you need to have a will.
Yeah, that's true.
If you haven't protected your home and life savings, seriously, seriously, talk to my friends over at Safe Harbor. Talk to John and Marie and the team. They will put a plan together that will protect it for the kids or wherever you want it to do. Mm-hmm. Wills don't do that. You go into a nursing home, you're going to say goodbye to everything you've worked hard for. Talk to the folks at Safe Harbor. They work for middle class, middle upper. That's their audience. It isn't just the big rich people that have to have a trust. They're not the Thurston Howell the Third stuff. So 370-9977. Write that down, 370-9977. Friends at safeharborwillsandtrust.com, Tom.
Okay, now you can go back to eating your pizza.
Back to eating my pizza.
The reason why Steve has pizza here is because we're going to be speaking with Anthony Manicone, who is the owner of Pump Pizza Pub. How are you there, Anthony?
Good. How we doing, guys?
You mind if I call you Anthony?
Why don't you call him? He's probably your cousin.
He could be. He could be. And am I saying your last name right? It's not Manicone, is it?
Manicone. Is it? Well, if you pronounce it Italian, it's Manicone.
Right. There you go. All right. And just like my wife says, now she knows, but she's Medigan. Yeah. And she started off with me, and she would go into the store and say, "Where's the ricotta cheese?" And I said, "It's rigat." And so now she walks in and she goes, "Where's the rigat?" So, is
it a euro or a gyro?
It can be. They can be taught. Anyway, so Anthony, you've been in the business of restaurateur for a long time?
Sure, pretty much all my life.
Okay. Where are you from originally? You're from Syracuse?
Liverpool. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Grown and raised in Liverpool. My family came here in pretty much like 1970. My parents were already here, obviously.
Get a little closer to that mic.
Up there.
And we moved into the suburb of Bayberry, right behind Liverpool High School when they first built the high school. And that was all farmland. And we saw it grow, and pizza shops and restaurants and family-owned businesses were all around there.
Yeah, sure.
So, and obviously, being an Italian heritage, a lot of us were groomed to own businesses.
Yes, very true.
So
entrepreneurial, and of course most of us can cook. So you tend to you watch grandma and then you mom and then you start cooking.
Sure.
So name some of the places that you've owned in the past.
I've had Da Vinci's Pizza downtown in Armory Square back in '96 through the early 2000s, and then we moved out to Fayetteville and built a large Italian restaurant, Da Vinci's Restaurant.
Yes.
And I took a little break from it. I had a World Martini Bar and did some of the, Velvet Underground, the nightclubs.
Oh, wow.
And stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I bounced around a little bit.
And you owned them all. You were all with partners and things?
Yes, and I worked them. I'm in my restaurant today. I was catering early for a party that I'm doing later on.
So that's how you know my buddy Sammy Vecchio.
Of course, he loves to eat.
Yeah, he does. That's right. we both do. That's why we're not good for each other when we get together.
So
okay.
So yeah, he's a Liverpool guy as well.
Yeah, sure.
We all know each other.
So yeah. So now this place that you currently have this. Why the name Pump Pizza? First of all,
a lot of people ask us that. So me and my partner, he was down in Florida. He had moved down to Florida, and originally we were talking about, because people complain about the pizza down in Florida. A lot of it is the dough and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we were going to go down and supply some of these gas stations.
Oh, okay. Yeah. With good dough?
With good dough. We were actually going to make the product for them, so we knew that the product was done right, because a lot of the pizzas down there are awful.
Yeah.
It's not even just a gas station. It's the actual pizza shop.
Right.
So that was our goal. Then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I had this place as mainly it was a drinking bar. I didn't really work hard in it.
Right. And that was Woody's Pub.
Woody's,
right?
yeah. And it was basically, your chicken wings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it very personal about the food, because it wasn't really a food.
A little younger clientele,
It was a drinking bar. It was, your neighborhood drinking bar. And once COVID hit, they pretty much eliminated the bar business in Syracuse. We had to close by a certain time. You had to be away from the bar.
Right.
You had to wear your mask. It was so confusing and complicated that you just didn't even want to do it anymore.
Right.
So, in that fall, we reopened. We had a really good summertime because we have the outdoor patio bar.
Yeah.
So it was great, and we had a really good summer. I think it rained twice that whole summer.
Sure.
So nobody was inside anyway, so we just had 7 days a week. We ran the outdoor patio bar.
So naming it gas station pizza, probably not a better term.
No.
Nobody wants gas station pizza. But so what's special about your pizza?
Well,
by the way,
first of all,
I'm showing it. People on YouTube are seeing it. I've already pounded one piece down. This one's going to be history. Tell us about it.
So we make our own Chicago deep dish dough. So the product everything's made in the house.
All homemade.
And our sauces, our doughs.
Yes.
From our tenders we make to our mozzarella wedges, everything is made in house, and all the sauces are made in house. So you're getting a product that's, there's no byproducts in it. It's not like going into a chain where some guy gets it out of
really good.
That's awesome. And do you do takeout and eat it?
And that's what's happened in our industry, as you guys probably have seen.
Sure.
Our business, a lot of it is takeout and delivery now.
Right.
A lot of people aren't leaving their house. Although we do have a nice bar inside with a lot of drink specials, and now we're opening up the patio bar, and we do entertainment.
I remember that building. So in the Kmart Plaza in Mattydale, that is the Vineyard.
Correct.
45 years ago, or whenever it was, a long, long time ago when I was a kid.
Yeah, probably was built.
I remember going to the movies over at the theater there.
Correct. In the corner, they had what was that called? That place.
Cinema
North or something?
Yeah.
Cinema North.
Right. And Kmart actually had a Pulse.
Yeah, Kmart was great over there, man. I remember.
Well, you're rocking the plazas right near Zab's in that same area.
Yes. Yeah. So we're right around the corner from them in the same plaza. Obviously there's been some changes. Kmart no longer is there.
Yeah, it's too bad.
We're looking for a tenant. You know what? They're actively seeking a tenant, and
I think it's a great location.
It'll happen sooner or later.
No, you can get in and out and up from anywhere. When are you open? What days are you open? Are you closed ever?
7 days a week.
7 days a week. All right.
Saturday and Sundays we're open for lunch.
Right.
Monday through Friday we're not at the moment. It's been tough to find help. I'm not going to lie to you.
And that's something. People don't want to work.
And another thing too is, even if I can find help,
They're still not.
We have a little more of a discerning clientele that expects us to do a good job with.
Are you chicken wing folks too?
We do jumbo fresh chicken wings, so nice. We're very well known for our wings.
Well, Sammy keeps telling me to come out with the wife, and I just hadn't had time. But you do have entertainment there, what, Friday, Saturday? Or
well, we don't really have like a set schedule of entertainment. I try to pick bands that aren't so much in your face, like sometimes,
right.
They may
like Sammy's laid back. He's doing.
Right, nobody listens to Sammy.
Yeah, too busy eating money. Yeah. So don't tell my son.
No, you're right.
But I do some of the larger bands, but I have to also be cognizant of when they've played in the area.
Yeah,
because some of these bands have gotten where they're playing down the street from me, and then they go next.
Right.
You don't want to, and everybody's fighting for the same pie.
Right, yeah.
So I try to take it a little different. I try to book some bands maybe when they're not playing a lot.
So is that schedule on Pump Pizza? Do you have that?
I do. Yeah.
So pumppizza.com, Tom.
Very nice.
Pumppizza.com for some amazing pizza.
Hang out there, look at the entertainment. You can meet Anthony probably. He's probably out there shaking hands and enjoy yourself, or order it to go. Either way. Anthony Maniconi, thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate that. All right.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Diane Kupperman and Molly DiBartolo, respectively. It's the president of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then producer at American High is Molly. So they'll be here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it again. Thank you for sticking around this entire time. Or if you're new to this segment, well, welcome in. We do appreciate you, listening despite Steve being here.
Maybe they just found us on accident.
No, nobody finds it by accident.
Like the radio, like it broke in the car, and they're like, "Oh, I got a station. It's coming in strong." Who are these idiots?
What happens? They keep it on, and then they hear your voice, and they go, "No, my goodness, do we still have the radio on, honey?" Or their computer, or phone, or
maybe
whatever. No, it's all good stuff. But we do appreciate you being around. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. We're also on YouTube, so you can actually see what's going on. And if you're watching on YouTube, you will see these two people, Diane Kupperman and Molly DiBartolo. Now, Diane is the president and CEO of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then Molly is a producer at American High. And Molly, let's start with you, since Diane's old hat now. We've had her on. So.
She's nothing new.
Molly's new to the show. So, Molly, where'd you come from? Are you from Syracuse?
I am, actually. I grew up in Fayetteville, graduated from high school there, went to college in Ithaca, ended up moving to New York for about 10 years and ended up back here, and now I'm working in the local film industry here in Syracuse.
So you work with this Jeremy Gerlich?
I do. Okay. He is my boss.
Oh, okay. He's
my friend,
boss.
My mentor, all of the above.
Wonderful. And so would you consider yourself a producer, or do you wear many hats over there?
I definitely wear a lot of hats, for sure. But I've been very fortunate. I've been with American High since they started back in 2017, and I've been able to grow with the company.
Yeah.
So I actually am producing on their films now. So I'm doing both production management, all the logistics and things like that, but then also producing as well.
So when you started, it was American what? I mean, you were at ground floor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right. When we started, it was like, okay, here's a building. I actually saw an article in the New Times that said that they had said these guys were coming to town, blah, 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 et cetera. So I emailed them, met up with them.
And they hired you anyway?
And they literally were like, okay, great, you're in. Send us a headshot. We're doing a presentation for the town tonight. And I was like, okay.
Fabulous.
Yeah, but it's been really great.
Yeah.
it's been cool.
What did you do down in New York, real quick?
I worked in post-production for many years in New York. So I worked for a bunch of different post-production studios where we did sound, color, editorial work for feature films and television.
Did you do acting yourself? Were you on the stage at all?
No, I was in a Gillette commercial once when I worked at a sound house.
Like Gillette Road Middle Band?
Like,
you
don't look like you have that
like
much
the Venus
hair.
Razor, the Venus Razor, and I was
the
at
Venus
one
one,
point
okay.
getting like 1 cent royalty checks from that, but I think I've moved too many times at this point. They've lost me.
That's funny. All right. Well, Diane Kupperman, you've been with Make-A-Wish for how many years now?
More than 30 now. Can you believe it? And I can't believe that you didn't put on your claim to fame. She used to babysit my kids.
Yes,
that's a real treat that I get to work with Molly after all these years and having her grown up around Make-A-Wish. And so impressive, this young woman. We are so grateful that to have American High here and then to have, the quality of people in our community that make it.
Tell us about your recent collaboration.
Right,
Tell us what's going on.
Well, it's funny how things happen. We had a wish of a young boy. He was 8. He's 9 now. Yep. And he is a prolific story writer. And Marshall's wish was to turn one of his stories into a movie in which he could both direct and star in. So where do you go? You're here in upstate New York, and Marshall wasn't able to travel anywhere. And my team reached out to American High and said, look, we've got this little project. Molly could probably tell the story better because she was part of it.
Okay.
And
so this is a done deal. It's okay. Go ahead. Tell us then.
Yeah, it was great. Mo from Make-A-Wish had gotten in touch with us, asked if it would be something we were interested in. I brought it out to the team, and they were instantly like, yes. And it was like all systems go from there. We started planning, what we were going to do, when we were going to shoot it, meeting Marshall, doing the wish reveal, the whole 9 yards. So we really, met. I think we talked for the first time maybe on a Tuesday, and we met Marshall that following Monday and shot the film 2 weeks later.
You can't say no to Mo. You realize that.
Yep, absolutely.
That's awesome. So what was created? Tell us more about that.
Sure. So Marshall had written, he's got hundreds of comics that he wrote, but he wrote a comic about a boy named Marshall Man. And essentially it was himself, and it was a kid who got superpowers, discovered his superpowers after a fun little superhero accident type of thing in science class, and then went to go fight his nemesis, lost his first battle, and kind of got this inspiring talk from his mom about how you should never give up. And so that's kind of the moral of the theme. So he went back, he kicked butt, and he's off to save the next day. So it was super fun for us. If you know a little bit about American High, we do high school comedies. So it was super fun to be working on something that was superhero themed, because that's not in our general wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. So it was really fun to get to try to figure out how are we going to fly? How are we going to do this? We had a guy falling off a building that Marshall caught, and as he fell off the building. So we had an amazing group of stunt people that we work with.
It's a big green screen, isn't it? The whole building.
Literally, guy fell off the building.
It was extraordinary to watch this come together, to have American High in our backyard say yes so quickly, for them to be on hiatus so they could fit this into their busy schedule. And we wanted to do it really quickly. And the fact that it's going to premiere on April 29th, which is World Wish Day, the day that we celebrate the founding of Make-A-Wish.
And where can people see this?
They can see it at the Landmark Theater. It's free and open to the public, but they do need to reserve tickets. And the premiere of Marshall Man will happen on April 29th at 6 o'clock at the Landmark Theater. And just I've never seen behind the scenes of a movie being produced. Right. It was mind-boggling to me. 3 days. And they put out an SOS call to the people they've worked with and said, hey, we've got this project. Do people want to help? And people literally came from all over the state.
So how do people get tickets? Where do they go?
They can go right to our website on cny.wish.org and look for Marshall Man, the movie.
So CNY.
.wish.org.
Okay.
Marshall Man, the movie. Brought a flyer for you. Maybe you'll put it up. But just a quick QR code, make a reservation, and we would like to fill the Landmark Theater. So we need 2,500 people and paparazzi. People come with your cameras and your signs to meet your superhero, Marshall Man.
Now, after it is seen there, will it show up like on YouTube, or will it be on like Netflix or anything like that?
Will it have a second life, like in a different place where we can download it or see it or share it?
Potentially, yeah. We're kind of figuring out what that is. We want to make it available, obviously, for our crew members and people involved in the project.
But don't wait for that. Go to the
Come to the
landmark.
premiere. Absolutely. It's the only way to see it on the big screen.
Marshall Man there.
Yep.
Right.
So he'll be there.
Oh my gosh, he'll be
there.
Can
you get a signed autograph?
The orange carpet. You can get autographs. You can. And actually, April is Wish Heroes Month for Make-A-Wish, and we are raising money throughout the month to help grant more wishes. And Marshall has started his own Wish Heroes page, which you can also find on our website, because he would like to pay it forward and help make another child's wish come true.
That is
wonderful. It's pretty doggone
What an
cool.
awesome collaboration, right, Tom?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good
Doesn't
job.
get any better.
Yeah.
Well, that's Diane Kupperman. She's the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation, who looks like she's about 25, but she's been there close to 30 years. And then Molly DiBartolo is the producer at American High with Jeremy Gerlich and the whole gang over there. Thank you guys, both of you, for coming by. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
See you on the 29th.
Yes, you will. You will. Okay, you ready, Steve? It's time to go fishing for you.
It's time to go fishing for me, Tom.
Yes, and I can clean off the mic now from you talking on it. Got to clean everything up. On behalf of the local show and Zoey Advertising and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Hey, take a walk every day with a friend and a family member. It keeps your mind clear and it keeps your weight down. You know that? The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, the iHeart Radio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising 3809.